Our victim was Taylor Evans, a white male, 22. He, along with some other individuals, confronted the white truck with two individuals inside. Supposedly, they thought he hit a girl or maybe brushed up against one. All these individuals were probably intoxicated, just leaving the club. Earlier that night, there was a Jason Aldean concert at the arena, which all of these individuals, I think, participated in. This individual was standing in front of the truck while a friend of his, Greg Allen Johnson, a white male, 26, he approached the driver's side window, which was rolled down, and repeatedly started striking the driver, punching him, causing great bodily harm. The individual was trying to basically get away from him. A passenger inside that truck was also being punched through the passenger window. At that point, his truck was in reverse. He backed up. At that point, the victim slid off the front of the vehicle, fell to the ground. With the driver not knowing this, then he puts it in drive to escape, both of him and his passenger getting pummeled with punches. They speed off to exit the lot, and in doing so, he ran over the victim, his tire, basically causing injury to the head. Now, that victim was transported that night, and like I said, he died a few days later. There was a lot of individuals involved, a lot of work in this investigation. They interviewed a lot of people. I know at first reported there were some friends of the victim were coming forward saying, they saw everything. Well, after gaining all this information, it turned out some of those people really didn't see what they were telling. But our individual in the truck who suffered severe injuries, which are going to require surgery, he at this time has not been charged in anything, but we are waiting on blood results to come back, which he could be charged with driving under the influence, misdemeanor. Our suspect, Greg Johnson, because he's the one who started this whole incident by striking the driver, he has been charged with murder. There are other individuals that we could not identify that were involved in punching the passenger. We still have not identified those yet. But at this time, this is how the investigation unfolded, and this is where we are at this point. And I'll entertain any questions.
If you find the passenger, is he going to be charged for murder too?
No, what we're looking at is...
The person hitting the passenger.
He could be charged with some sort of, I don't think, murder, but, and like at this time, we still need information. If somebody knows who was at that driver's side, the passenger side window striking that individual, we need that information.
Could he suffer surgery-related injuries too?
The passenger?
Yeah.
No.
Just the driver?
Just the driver.
Pretty bad?
Yes. Yes, his orbital socket was shattered. He's got 2 large gashes over his head that required stitches. We had him down here interviewing him that night, and the hospital called us to say, bring him back. He needs to be looked at, yeah.
Rob, just a couple things. Do you believe that the driver knew that he had run over the victim?
No, because as he's getting punched through the window, he's actually turning his body to try and avoid, and the first 2 punches evidently we believe split open his head and the blood was flowing, and his passenger yelling for him to, let's get out of here. We do not believe that he knew that individual was in front of the truck, and actually as he was leaving, he doesn't recall seeing anybody in front of the truck or running over.
The guy in front of the truck, he actually jumped up on the hood.
The victim who was run over?
Yes.
Yeah, we had reports at first that he was up on the hood, then he's standing in front of the vehicle, pounding on the hoods, and we had his prints of his hands actually on the vehicle that night.
On the hood, actually?
Yes.
Well, so let me ask this. There's a female that came forward that gave information to a number of media outlets, including us, her story is completely different, right? I mean, she says she was with the guy, they were holding hands 4 feet away, and the truck suddenly run over. Now, you had mentioned that some people provided false information. Would that female be one of those people?
Yes, yes. She, I don't want to say it was false, but it wasn't correct. She, what we were reading that she was given information was that she was holding hands, they were walking.
Yeah.
She basically turns her head, and next thing she knows, he's run over.
Correct.
They were not together. They actually were separated, looking for their vehicle.
Uh-huh.
Evidently, he saw what was going on in the parking lot with some of his friends, and he went over there. And then she basically heard everything going on, and then, goes over to that.
Because of all the alcohol involved, is this a tricky investigation? I mean, more of a complicated investigation?
It was complicated because, like I said, you had probably the majority of the people were intoxicated or involved in alcohol. And being that, at first it believed it was going to be a traffic homicide and then turned into a homicide. But Sergeant Mike Paul and his group and Lead Detective Ed Cayenne did an excellent job in bringing some closure to this.
Did the female that we've just discussed provide you a similar account that she provided to the media, that this individual was just with her and suddenly was hit?
She changed it a little bit. She came forward and when they brought her in, and she said that they were separated.
She had initially said that they were not, though, is that correct?
Right, she said that they were together holding hands. Yeah.
She told you guys that, right?
Did he have brass knuckles or anything? Was he hitting them with any kind of weapon?
That I do not know.
Break the
I don't
face
believe
that
so. I
bad?
think it was just a fist.
After the driver was pummeled and took off and drove over the guy, he was found a few blocks away. Did he voluntarily stop? Did he realize what had happened?
No, what had happened in that there was a witness who observed the individual being run over and that truck leaving the parking lot. He followed it. He actually attempted to pit maneuver on that vehicle, which got the police involved in that. And that's where they came in and saw the vehicle like a couple blocks away. And once they turned their blue lights on him, he pulled right over.
Any other questions?
Can I, just one more time, the fellow that was hitting the fellow in the truck, who are not identifying, is that correct at this point?
One was and one is not.
Okay.
Greg Johnson is the one who was at the driver's window. We do not know who was actually at the passenger window striking that individual.
So there were two, one here and one there?
There was probably 12 to 15 individuals around this vehicle at this time.
And that initiated because of what? Was it one more time?
We were getting conflicting reports that these two individuals in this truck had either struck a female or brushed up against them with their vehicle, which turned out to be false. We have no proof that that occurred. We even asked, we put out to the media that we wanted people to come forward and say, we received no calls, nothing that a female was injured due to something like that.
So these guys just
They were basically
unloading on these fellas?
Yeah, they were innocent coming out of the bar. I'm sure, like I said, everyone was intoxicated. Everybody was drinking. Alcohol played a major part in this incident.
All right.
Okay?
Thank you, Lieutenant.
Thanks, Rob.
Yep.